Okay. So where we were, So here now the next requirement is employee edit access is not given, but I want to, this is edit link access, this is correct access. So both you have to select. I want to only make employee authorization for correcting the data, not edit it. Now see what will happen. You should know the difference, right? Now the edit access we have not given, but correct access is given. If you see, the pencil symbol is not there. But let me go to personal information thing. Here you can find the edit link basically. So you can correct the history. You can't able to add a new record. You can replicate this record basically. You can replace this record. So I can just give the thing anything over here and I can do the changes field wise, and field wise permissions are also there. If you observe, we do have field wise permission. Let me just become the cell. You can able to understand. For example, I want to restrict it field wise. How I'll be doing? Let me go to permissions, same employee central effective dated. And here I'm giving edit link and correct link. But first name, last name, I don't want the person to, while creating a new record, he or she should not don't able to edit the first name, last name. And then I'm just removing the salutation and gender, or only gender and marital status, for example. I don't want, while the employee in the history, go in the history and edit this information. Okay, understood the requirement. I don't want edit the first name, last name field when creating a new record. While correcting the history, I don't want employees to edit gender and marital status. Basically, history में gender marital status, I don't want employee to correct it. Now see the differences. Let me proxy with the user. As you can see, the change button is now visible. But while changing, I have told, while inserting a new record, first name, last name should be disabled. If you can see, I can't able to enter first name, last name. Middle name I can enter. So this is the power of authorization. You can control it field wise also. And if I go to history, if I edit it, then first name, last name will be editable. But what is not editable? First name, last name is editable. Gender and marital status is not editable because I have selected this. So understood the difference now, what is edit and what is correct, or any doubts? Yeah.
Yes, got it, sir.
Okay, great. So this is how you can control the, what we say, field wise or portlet wise authorization for the employee, especially in ESS. I'm talking about ESS. I'll be coming with the each and every role in detail, not a problem. So let me just become self. So likewise, I will explain you the importance. Other modules, you'll be having the requirement from the consultant. They will be providing you the details that he go and activate these for the ESS. So they'll be using for performance, right? What in performance you have to activate, talent search. Is there anything to activate? These all will be communicated to you. So based on that, you have to select the switches, basically what is required for. This is user permission, basically continuous performance user permission. They should have access to performance feedback and all. They will be deciding. If at all in any one they should not have the access, you can remove it. So these permissions will be decided by the management itself. Succession chart or chart permissions employees should not have. So they will be not. This is for succession management. If there any learning management permission, learning is not activated through provisioning. So there is no learning permissions. And this is employee central permissions, which is portlet wise permissions, effective dated. Non-effective dated, this is section wise permissions. Non-effective dated, you'll be having here employee data. Apart of that, analytics, reports, permissions, if at all any required by the organization, you can provide it. Recruitment permissions. This is analytical permissions, but this is employee data. Here, employee profile, all the 15 profiles, all the 15 custom fields are there. That permissions is given. If at all anything is not required, these are the non-effective dated plus employee profile permissions. Remember, in employee data, you will be like biographical information, national ID, those are non-effective dated, right? So you will be having that permissions over here, biographical information. See, biographical information, national ID information. These are the non-effective dated. Contact information is divided into phone and email information. These are also employee central related. Just you have to think where exactly the thing is. General user permission will be having like organizational chart permissions or any other. These are the general user. Live profile access. I have told you, if you don't give this permissions, you can't able to see this action. This my profile, my employee file. This permission will be disabled. So that is that permission. So while working real time, you can able to understand it very easily. These are the recruiting permissions and all, which are not necessary for employees. Basically, miscellaneous permissions are also not necessary. Home tiles permissions, basically home page tiles permissions. These are also for employees are given what are required. And then this is administrator permission. Generally, employees will not have this until and unless little bit required by the management, they will be having. Generally, admin permissions are not any admin permissions, time off, Only view permissions employees having to view their time off details, but admin permissions are not having. These are the permissions, foundation object permission. This will be covering in Employee Central class. These are the various configuration permissions are there, which will be enabled here in admin permissions. So this will be covering in our Employee Central core classes. Workflows permissions are managed here. Any approvals are there. That is nothing but workflows. Manage has, I have told you, that person doesn't have add new user. How it will be, how ESS doesn't have this permission, add new user. So definitely employee can't able to add the new user in the admin page, admin center page. So manage positions and all, company structure overview, access of company structure overview. We have seen company structure overview in all org chart, right? How to configure company structure overview and all that we have seen. Same company structure overview. Those permissions I have shown in org charts, right? Those permissions are accessed over here. And then admin alerts, this will be not using. This service center is there. It is not for our use. Compensation module will be having these permissions. So RBPS is a very huge role. You can view each and every, these are dashboards and reports basically. So for ESS, they are given this permission to view basically. So documents, forms, these are the PMGM permissions. So not for our use. And again, we'll be having manage users permissions, where email, these are the admin permissions. See, this is the proxy management permissions. Until and unless we select this permission, for super admin, we'll be selecting this proxy management. But for others, will not select proxy, only super admins, we are having that permission, proxy management. They only will be providing the proxy. That's the reason they can able to do it. Others can't. So metadata framework is nothing but this action name basically. Configure object definition, manage data. Somebody have given permissions for ESS manage data. They should not be allowed basically. No. Manage data is where you'll be creating the values for HR should have this permissions, not ESS. So you should be careful while giving it. Just for your understanding, I'm explaining each thing. Alert object permissions and MDF foundation objects. Here, if you create any MDF object like sub department have created, this view, this you can give object was permissions over here. This will be understanding. You'll be understanding basically if we cover what we cover. If we cover Employee Central, enter into the Employee Central core, manage business configuration. This is succession data model basically. Admin alerts, email framework, all these permissions you have to give it to the admin basically, configuration center and all. This slowly you will be understanding. Integration, this is not for our use. This is for onboarding. This is managed security. This is not for our use. SSO means single sign-off. Basically, API consultant will be having these permissions. Manage action is this action search and all comes under manage action. Admin center permissions. These are the admin center permissions basically. If you want, you can give those permissions, but these are given to the admin permissions. And then you'll be having email framework. This is not, this is security is not for our self, and card services is not for our. These are all are for API purpose. So according to the management requirement, you have to give permissions. So as we are doing the ESS, we'll be not having these many permissions. We'll be having very less for ESS, especially in user. If you just minimize this, you'll be having user permission, admin permission. Maximum for ESS will be having under this. And that to not all the permissions, it is decided by the management what permissions are to be activated. Based on that, you have to discuss with the management and go to the respective heading, and you have to activate those permissions. Once you activate it, you have to click on done. So this is the second step basically. First step is we are defining the role. Second step is we are activating the permissions as it is done. Then what is the third step? How Here somebody has given created unnecessarily this all, but it is target population, permission, user groups are showing the same, no problem. But how system will understand key? Okay, you have created permissions for ESS. To whom I should give the permission? This comes in granted roles. As I have told in my theory class, these are the standard permissions. A part of this, if anything is there, then you have to use this permission group. Here you have to create the permission group. Now, for all employees, definitely I'll be selecting all employees, right? Everyone, all employees. It will system will select system will consider all the employees in the in the success factors. Now, if I select HR managers or managers, all the HR managers, it will be selecting system. And if you select managers, you are getting also this option. This I will be looking into the managers MSS when we'll be covering MSS. But for in short, you can either select all the managers or only managers in this group. Here also permission groups come, but this is little bit different. So this is what permission groups are taken place. If at all any permissions is not suitable in this current role, then you have to create permission groups with this action, manage permission groups. This is manage permission roles, right? Here standard roles are there. If there is, if you are creating ESS roles, permission groups will not come in existence. But if any standard roles are not there, for example, any super admin, there is no role called super admin over here. I want 1 or 2 persons to create to be a super admin. Then I'll be giving permission groups. I'm going to manage permission groups. And this is already super admins created. For example, if I click this, we have mentioned certain users over here. So based on that users, the access is given. So only group creation is not enough. You have to assign this group over here with master permissions basically. For this is useful for permission groups or HR managers in specific criteria. That scenarios, real-time scenarios are there. We'll be working in our next classes. Not a problem. So for now, ESS, you have to select this all employees because ESS covers all employees. If there is any deviation from this standard roles, if none of the role matches, then you have to create a permission group with the users or not only users, with not only users. There are certain criteria. This is username we have created. You can create it with the department, company, business unit. For particular business unit, complete business unit should get that permission. For that purpose, the permission group is created and then it is linked it over here, permission group. Now it is for all employees. We are selecting everyone and we are clicking on done. Now this is the step one. Grant this permission to everyone. Now this everyone can view whose data. This everyone can view here it is mentioned wrong. This everyone can view everyone's data means it will be problem. If I proxy somebody have touched the settings, I think students, if I proxy the with Alan John, generally it should not be there. Now Alan John ka, if I go to employee profile, it is this details with personal information, edit and all these details are shown. Now this Ellen Chan, if I go from the, I'm right now in Ellen Chan profile. If I go to John Huddleston, which is VP, then there will be a mismatch basically. See, here also you will be having edit action. This, that means to say that you can edit the VP's profile. It is simply as what we say, it will be escalated, right? Anything in real time. So this is the real-time scenario. So if you select everyone, as you can see, he or she can update the everyone's record. If I become self, somebody has messed up with this. These many roles are not required. Let me just delete it. Or let me just make inactive. Let these only roles. If you don't want to delete it, later on you want to active, make simply as inactive and let this role works. Here, what will be doing target population? Here we are selecting this and granted user self. He can only able to see his own details. This I am doing and saving it. Understood now?
Yes, sir.
So let me just save it. Proxy Alan John. Now, if you see that, see the difference. I'm just going to employee profile. And here he can able to edit his or her details. Now, if I go to John Huddleston, now see, there is no edit and view option. There is only view option. He can't able to edit it. This also is coming from other role. I'll explain you in next class. But right now, that ESS, it is not catching it. There is he can't able to edit now. Okay. So for viewing also, you have to create a different role that I'll be explaining in our next class. This is what about ESS, you can control it. Any doubts till now?
No, sir. No doubt.
Just as this is the demo system, create your own scenario and practice it on the same role ESS, and you can able to understand where exactly the changes happen, basically portlet wise and all. Okay. So we'll be
Okay.
correcting in our next class.
Yes, sir.
Okay then, chalo.
Chalo. Have a nice evening, sir.
Thank you. You too.
Bye.
Bye.